got an interesting one for you. Is it fair to have a monetary penalty as part of a plea deal when the defendant is indigent? Let me know what you think in the comments.
I was just going to ask that, given that my client is indigent, that those fines and court costs be waived.
Well, if that was part of the plea bargain agreement, was that part of the plea bargain agreement? $2,000 a fine, and how much did you say? $299?
$290.
$290 in court cost. Was that the plea bargain agreement?
In 1 second, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor, that was part of the plea paperwork, but it is also my understanding that the court can waive the fines and court costs if the client is indigent at the time of sentencing.
Yes, but Mr. Shaughnessy, do you have?
Well, Your Honor, we disagree with that. It was part of the plea bargain it was entered into, and I'm not aware of a finding of indigency with respect to his current status.
And the court would agree with that at this time. If there's something that comes up later where there's a file document that the court could look at, but at this point, there's nothing. Your client's not here. I don't have any documents. That's what the law requires, that the court make a finding, and with no documents being found, I'm going to follow the plea bargain agreement of $2,000 fine with court cost of $290.
Okay, and Your Honor, just for the record, will the court take judicial notice of the prior indigency affidavit that was filed in order to appoint us on this case? That is in the court's record.
Okay, if it's in the court's record, I will take that into consideration. But I need to be able to make that determination today. Things could have changed easily from that time to today. And you made the plea bargain agreement with the state knowing that that's what the deal was. So.
Okay, Your Honor.
Okay, I find the defendant has waived his right to appeal any of the issues.
So it seems like this has been kind of an ongoing battle with the prosecutor's office because they're including court costs and fines in all of their plea deals. So if there is an indigent client, they're not able to accept the plea deal because they're not able to pay the court costs and fines. I think that's the way I understand it. Tell me what you think.
Number 5 was supposed to be a plea. Has everything been worked out about that, or?
No, Your Honor. So I am appearing on behalf of my client, Mr. Marquise Dennis, and as the previous counsel has stated, Mr. Dennis is declared indigent. My client, however, does have the amount for the fines that the prosecutor did say, which was $250. My client has that, but he does not have the amount for the court costs. And before the state will accept the plea, it is a requirement in all of these cases that they pay the fine and the court costs, which to me, it appears that there needs to be some type of separation of powers or something, because I don't understand how you are saying before you can accept the plea, you must have the fine and the court costs paid, but you in essence are kind of taking away the defendant's right to go before the court and ask the court to waive those court costs when he has been declared, when a defendant has been declared indigent, or to even have the court to consider any other factors. Once these defendants have been declared indigent, Your Honor, they are presumed to be indigent until the end of this case. So I do not understand how the prosecutor can use the idea of having the court costs paid when you are in essence creating an undue hardship for these clients.
Well, that's between you and the state on that end of it. What your plea bargain agreement is with them. I only accept or deny the plea bargain agreement.
Your Honor, this is Tony Hackabill for the state, and we have been through this discussion, Ms. Dixon and I, by email recently, but it is also an issue that has been addressed numerous times with other attorneys. And what the court just pointed out is that this is the result of a plea offer. The plea offer is accepted, and we expect that the counsel and the client will stick to the terms of the plea offer. If the counsel wishes to go to the judge or to the court for an open plea, that's an entirely different matter. When I've kept this in mind the entire time, when I make an offer and counsel has indicated it's accepted, we then send plea papers reflecting the terms of that offer and expect that there will be no change to the terms of those offer. if counsel wishes to then proceed, doesn't wish to accept the offer, or the client doesn't wish to accept the offer, they're more than welcome to proceed with an open plea before the court, and we can then argue our relative positions. But until then, when the offer is made and it's accepted, we expect that the terms of that offer to be followed, or we're going to urge the court to follow the terms of those of the offer, and without deviation. Otherwise, we just simply won't have plea bargains.
And I agree with you. They either accept your terms or they don't, and they want to do an open plea, that's a separate matter, and then it could be raised at that point. Your client wants to say something. I don't know if you want him to or not, Ms. Dixon. I see his hand raised there.
No, Your Honor, I do not. I
Okay.
was still in response to what he has stated. Yeah, I just don't see how it is allowed for the state to use court costs, because this should be assessed after the defendant has entered and there has been a judgment. So I don't understand how this can be used prior to where you're saying.
If that's one of the conditions of the plea bargain agreement, it's just like he said, you can do an open plea at any time. And there might be something worked out where part of the plea bargain agreement is it's going to be for so many days or whatever, and then we're going to let the judge decide on some other issue. But they've made a plea bargain offer to you and your client, and you either want to accept it or you don't. And it doesn't sound like you're ready to accept it today. And if not, then we'll give it the next court setting, I believe, which is a trial date.
Yeah,
Is that what you want?
so my client has entered into the chat, and he has stated that he will, if the court will grant him a continuance, to come up with the continuance so that he can have the money to pay within a week. He will have the full amount for the fine and the court costs. That is why he raised his hand. I still believe, and would like to put on the record, that I believe that this creates an undue hardship that this court is continuing to ignore, or the state is continuing to ignore, for indigent clients or defendants. But if
you put that clear on the record, you've made that clear what your stance is. But Mr. Hackabill, if we reset this case for a week, is the plea bargain offer that you have made to them still going to be out there if they're ready to plea in a week? I'll be here in a week, and if everything is ready, I could hear it in a week.
Yes, Your Honor, we have no objection to that.
Okay, we're going to reset this case for 1 week, which is the 20th. Is that right, Madison? I am here next Thursday, aren't I?
Yes, Your Honor, we have you for 7:20.
Okay, we're going to reset this for 7:20 at 9 a.m. by Zoom. So, Mr. Dennis, you need to be back on July the 20th at 9 a.m. and Ms. Dixon also.
Thank you, Your Honor.